All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. See if I can squeeze one more video out. Okay, you don't have to learn jazz on a bass. Okay, this is not a pot shot at jazz players or anything like that. This is kind of like stealing from somebody else's idea of guys that learn things that they don't necessarily need to learn. Because what happens is when we learn as a musician, doesn't matter if it's the drums, the bass, the guitar, whatever, we learn habits and muscle memory, right? And if you're, say, a rock guy, metal guy, or something else, whatever, and you're like, okay, well, to be a well rounded musician, I have to learn all these jazz chords and all these jazz positions and scales and stuff like that. The problem is whatever it is you focus on, that's what you're going to sound like, right? So if you're not really into jazz, there's no point in, unless you're interested in it, to focus trying to get those techniques and skills down, because what ends up happening is when you're trying to do something else, you end up just it's kind of like classical music. People who play classical music usually can't play blues. You know what I mean? Not all the time, but you get what I mean. Like their fingers don't divert to that. And I've actually went through a transition with my guitar playing, going from classic rock or pentatonic stuff based on blues scales to more neoclassical, where now my fingers naturally want to make more neoclassical shapes. And it's kind of weird that my brain would rewire like that. So if I wanted to go, okay, that's it, I want to go back to the blues stuff again, well, I have to now relearn how to instinctively go back to that. So if I'm looking at the bass, it's going to be the same thing. So if I'm like, okay, I'm a metal player, but I'm going to learn all this jazz and blues stuff, techniques that I'm not really going to be interested in using. Problem is when I'm trying to write metal songs, I'm going to de facto be writing, jazz riffs, which there is crossover. I get that, but you get what I'm getting at is that if whatever you spend your time on is what, like spend your time on what you're interested in, not what you think other people want to pressure you. Oh, well, you have to know how to slap. You have to know, know all this and know all that. Um, it doesn't work. Do what is going to, like, whatever you're learning, learn it to the best of your ability and learn it to the most advanced ability you can learn. But you don't necessarily have to just for the because the people that are usually push you to learn, like if you're a jazz guy, there's no use of you learning metal riffs. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to use it. You're not going to be interested in it, right? So if you're a country guy, like, do you really want to? You don't really need to worry about the metal stuff, do you? Like finger tapping and what have you. You're just not going to use it, right? So why, just to be a well-rounded player? I mean, it's cool if you really want to be a well-rounded player and just see if you can master everything. Sure, why not? But put your focus on what it is you want to learn rather than worrying about other people telling you, well, in order to be a good bass player, you have to be able to play like Jacko. Well, maybe you don't want to play like Jacko. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to play a little, different from that. I don't play like Jacko at all. Marcus Miller, I don't play like him at all. Fantastic bass players, but I don't play like those guys at all. I was listening to Marcus Miller last night. I was like, oh, okay, that's neat, but that's not my style. Um, I mean, I'm trying to do like Ingve stuff on this, so that's where I'm putting my attention, because it fits with what I'm doing. And that's what you should do for yourself is ignore the, wasting time learning stuff that you're not going to use. And if you take an interest in it later on, then yeah, for sure, pick it up, because like fundamentals are, one of those weird